Breaking today, Prince Harry returned to court to support sobbing Liz Hurley through her evidence against the Daily Mail. But the repercussions from what he revealed on the stand continue to ricochet, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in Montecito too. Because trust me, this has been a devastating 24 hours for Prince Harry's marriage. He admitted, and we're going to get into this because the mainstream media are ignoring it, giving his phone number to Charlotte Griffiths, the Mail on Sunday journalist who is now acting as a propagandist for Prince Harry in his war with the British royal family, but also in part with his wife. Now, he claims he didn't know that she was a journalist at the time. Yeah, right. He's also admitted to being back in contact with another ex, another woman who got away, Natalie Pinkham. All of this explains why Meghan Markle was so furious about this case being brought in the first place. Now, we're going to analyse exactly what is going down with Lady Colin Campbell here in the United Kingdom and the Sidley twins of Twin Talks in the US. But of course, our coverage is backed up by our incredible AI recreations of Prince Harry in court. And there's another concern for Meghan. The fact that Harry has decided to bring out his first love, a woman who was very happy not to be in the public eye before this case, but now everyone in royal circles is talking about Laura Gerard Lee after this piece of evidence Harry provided yesterday. Watch.
We had a very brief but private relationship, which lasted for a matter of months. The fact that ANL journalists learned so quickly was therefore extraordinary. This article is a prime example of why my relationship with Laura did not last long. It led to Laura's parents being doorstepped, which was understandably distressing. This sort of thing caused me to try and keep matters as private as I could to avoid this happening. We had been out and about before as friends, but as soon as we were in a relationship, the press knew about it instantly and then suddenly went to a whole new level.
Oh my goodness. Lady Colin Campbell, the Exes are back on the scene in so many ways. What did you make of this extraordinary evidence from Prince Harry and the fact that you can understand in a way why Meghan ain't happy?
Well, hello, Dan. I think this is... Oh, and hello to the Sidley twins.
I love it. We're transatlantic. I love your flags, ladies, by the way. Thank you for that.
For you guys.
I mean, Harry doesn't get it, does he? You know, he's the one who used to open up his mouth. He's the one who used to talk. And then he's surprised that things get leaked. I mean, who was ever going to know that the relationship had gone from, shall we say, above the dinner table to beneath the dinner table if Harry hadn't opened up his mouth? And also, Harry has always been a braggart. Let's remember that. Even in his book, you know, where he go, and I'm not going to mention her name, that poor girl who he said was a much older woman to whom he lost his virginity, when of course she's younger than Meghan. And so Harry's always bleating and being very proud of, shall we say, his swordsmanship. And then he's surprised that it gets out. But I mean, Dan, you know, and I certainly know as a result of being leaked information about through Harry's friends, the reason why Harry and Meghan wanted me to put in my book that the reason why she could not reconcile with her father was because of interference. This came directly from Harry and one of Harry's friends.
Totally. And so he says they're not leaky. It's not the truth, is it, Lady C?
Of course it's not the truth. They're constantly leaking. They're like sieves. And I mean, you know, Harry goes from complaining in court about the attentions of the press and goes and complains to the press about the attentions of the press.
I mean, no,
Uh,
that's obviously ludicrous. Of course it is. And we understand that hypocrisy. But I would also just point out one of the reasons why there were times when Harry's friends were leaking to people like you, to people like me, to people like Katie Nicholl, was because they were trying to save the guy from himself. Actually, it wasn't always done with a nefarious motivation. But that's the problem with Harry. Everything is a conspiracy. Everything is a deep evil. And very, very often, it's simply just not true. So, Liz, before I bring you in, I just want to show you Harry arriving at court today. He was very happy, proud as punch. And you know he's doing this repel the paparazzi trick. Have you noticed this? So he wears identical clothing, even the same tie. And he thinks he's so clever, whereas I just think he's dirty. Watch this. Great, thank you. Well, Sidley's, should he really be feeling great after that evidence yesterday, where he also, by the way, argued with the judge in court, was highly inconsistent? I mean, should he be feeling great?
No, absolutely not. I can't imagine feeling great. It's like he's got his coronation walk back. Do you remember when he was walking during his dad's coronation to his seat and he was like looking at the crowd and he was like, hey guys, what's up? Yeah.
And by the way, there was no one there. There were no
Anderson
fans.
Cooper never happened.
There were no
Book never
fans,
happened.
can I just say?
Yeah, like
no, there were no fans. It was definitely journalists calling his name just to get the picture for their articles. Listen, in one word, smug, sloppy. Well, okay.
Yeah,
sloppy.
in America, we call that look sloppy. And it's really interesting how the States is taking this, because a lot of people don't know the backstory on how he has put himself with Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley and all these other people. People think that Harry is just suing the Daily Mail for privacy breaches, but they don't understand, well, wait a second, in 2016, he's been fine with everybody else. He's the one who's been the leaker. And I don't understand why Harry is having such a problem. And the Daily Mail saying, well, you guys, palace briefings are all of a sudden illegal. It was the palace briefing the press, correct? What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
When Harry was part of the firm?
In some cases, absolutely it was. And this is the problem. As I say, I think there are some worrying moments for the Daily Mail. And remember, Harry only has to prove once that they did unlawfully do anything in order to procure a story. But there were some very bad moments for Harry overall. And I really want to get into something that, of course, the mainstream media is totally missing. But the fact that he actually admitted, I mean, not only did he admit to partying with Katie Nicholl, to the fact that there were these private calls to Rebecca English, which he claims he doesn't remember now, but in quite an astonishing moment, he admitted giving his phone number to Charlotte Griffiths. Now, Charlotte Griffiths is a really interesting one in all of this because, of course, she was the person who succeeded Katie Nicholl as the diary editor of the Mail on Sunday, but she's now the editor-at-large of that newspaper, constantly reporting pro-Harry stories from Harry's friends. And the Mail's lawyer put it to him that he had actually added Charlotte Griffiths on Facebook under this pseudonym Mr. Mischief. Now, he denies that. But what he couldn't deny is that he gave Charlotte Griffiths his phone number. He claims that he didn't know who she was at the time, but they had met at this party. So there is some form of relationship with them, even though he tries to claim, well, I had no idea who she was. What?
No idea she was a journalist. I never used the name Mr. Mischief.
Did you meet her in Ibiza?
I don't think that can be right. I don't believe I have ever been to Ibiza other than with my now wife. My social circles were not leaky. I want to make that absolutely clear. I would have to cut contact with this person.
Lady C, the thing is, though, none of this adds up because he's admitting, okay, I gave Charlotte Griffiths my number. Then there are Facebook messages between them. She continued to break stories. She's now breaking a whole load of stories which paint Harry in a positive light. Do you think that this makes him look good in all of this? Because clearly there was some form of relationship. Look, I'm not saying it was a sexual or romantic relationship, but he did give her his number. And Harry really wasn't giving numbers out to people randomly unless there was an attraction there.
Yes, that's right. But also, Dan, Harry has been a great cultivator of the press. And let us remember that not only Charlotte Griffiths, who is still Josefa Goebbels, Mach 2.
Yes, the new Omen Scovey. Or what do you call him, Lady C?
Amid scabies, you must get his name right. Scabies. Itch, itch. And you could even add a B in front of it if you want. But also, he was on very cordial terms with Katie Nichols and with Rebecca English. And his pretense that he wasn't is ludicrous. And for him to try to make out now that Katie wasn't a part of his social circle, of course she was. I mean, she was often at things with him. She was definitely a part of his social circle. And Rebecca English had a more professional relationship, clearly professional relationship, I should say, with Harry. But she also had a very, shall we say, cooperative and amicable working relationship with Harry. And she was very open about it at the time. And so I don't know where all of this is coming from, except that Harry is a very stupid liar, because he thinks just because he is denying the undeniable, that Mr. Justice Nicklin is going to be dumb enough to believe it. And Mr. Justice Nicklin, I can tell you, because he oversaw my case against Daily Mirror.
Oh, I
and
see.
Mr. Justice Nicklin doesn't take prisoners. And I would be really surprised if Harry wins in this instance, because Mr. Justice Nicklin will bend over backwards to accommodate some of Harry's comments and be understanding of his emotional state, let's put it that way, because he needs to be like that to be able to make any judgment he gives appeal proof. Otherwise it could be grounds for appeal. But ultimately I think he's going to come down very firmly on the fact that Harry is wildly inconsistent. Everything is about emotion. There's nothing really factual. I mean, I think, I don't know what you think, I think the most dangerous thing to emerge was Mike Bear and that seat with Rebecca English. But you and I both know that he could have simply got the information from one of the check-in girls at the desk. I mean, it didn't have to be done through nefarious means. And most information that one gets, even very awkward information, usually comes in very harmless ways. Don't you think that's a fact?
Yes, 100%. I do think, though, there are a couple of problems for the Mail. And I've always said that I cover this totally independently as someone who, as you know, was a columnist for the Mail, but is absolutely disgusted by the fact that there does appear to have been journalists that were engaging in illegal, immoral, and unlawful practices. Now, I'm not saying in all of the cases, I'm really not, but I do believe that the emails, which involve Caroline Graham and involve Rebecca English and involve Duncan Luncombe at The Sun, in regards to procuring the seat numbers of Chelsea Davy on a British Airways flight are going to be very difficult to explain. Obviously, we have to see how Rebecca English performs on the stand, but according to Harry's team, she's simply saying she doesn't remember the emails. I don't know if that's going to stack up. I really don't. But look, I want to talk about, well, actually, just before we come to Natalie Pinkham, firstly, Lady C, you talk about the judge. And the judge was, I think, to begin with, firm with Harry in this instance, and then he started to get more annoyed. But just take a look at this.
Part of Mr. White's job is to put allegations to you. This is a big moment. You're doing exactly what lots of litigants do. You tend to argue back about what he is putting to you. You don't have to bear the burden of arguing the case today that's for Mr. Sherborne.
I had a bad experience with Mr. Green.
You can simply say, I don't accept that, or I don't know about that.
I am intent on you not having a bad experience with me, but it is my job to ask you these questions.
But I think Harry was intent on it going badly, and so it did. So it's very interesting hearing from you, Lady C, that the judge is a no-nonsense type figure. But look, I want to talk about Natalie Pinkham Sidleys, because the other big revelation that emerged during the trial, and we know that Meghan Markle will be absolutely livid about this, is that Harry is back in contact with Natalie Pinkham. So Chris Shipp, who's of course one of the propagandists at Woke ITV News for Harry and Meghan, put it like this. Prince Harry tells the judge that Natalie Pinkham contacted him yesterday to say that she was not a source for stories and was never a source. Harry tells the judge that Pinkham had her conversation recorded without her knowledge. Now, Harry again admitted that that relationship had probably ended because of his paranoia. Watch this.
Right from the opening, this isn't just about a courtroom appearance, it's about fallout. Harry shows up playing the gallant supporter, but the subtext is clear. This case is detonating bombs far beyond London. The suggestion here is brutal. This wasn't just a bad legal day, it was a catastrophic marital one. The mainstream media may be focused on press ethics, but the real story brewing underneath. Trust, loyalty, and private boundaries collapsing in Montecito. This is where things start to smell off. Harry admits giving his phone number to Charlotte Griffiths, a senior Mail on Sunday journalist, while insisting he didn't know she was a journalist. Come on. The audience isn't buying that, and neither is anyone who understands royal media culture. The allegation being implied is simple but explosive. Harry condemns press intrusion while privately cultivating press relationships. That hypocrisy becomes a running theme. Now we cross into personal landmines. Natalie Pinkham. Laura Gerard Lee. Chelsea Davy, later. The commentary doesn't accuse, but it raises a devastating implication. Harry keeps emotionally reopening doors that were supposed to be closed forever. If Meghan Markle was already furious about this trial, this explains why. This case is resurrecting ghosts she wanted buried. Harry's testimony about Laura Gerard Lee lands differently than intended. Instead of showing press cruelty, it subtly paints a picture of a woman who wanted out of royal chaos, a man who talks, and then blames leaks. The irony. Harry claims he wanted privacy, yet his own words fueled exposure. Lady Colin Campbell doesn't mince words. Her core argument. Harry talks too much. Harry brags. Harry overshares. Then Harry plays victim. The brutal takeaway here is psychological. Harry creates many of the problems he now sues over. And that's devastating for his credibility in court. This is one of the most damaging segments. The claim that Harry and Meghan's circle wasn't leaky collapses under its own weight, as Lady C explains. Friends briefed journalists. Information flowed selectively. Leaks weren't accidental, they were strategic. The implication? Selective leaking is still leaking. And courts don't care about moral justifications, only evidence. Harry arriving at court happy, proud as punch completely undercuts his victim narrative. Wearing identical outfits to confuse paparazzi doesn't look clever, it looks performative. The optics matter, and here they scream, this doesn't look like a traumatized man. This looks like a man enjoying the spotlight he claims to hate. The Siddeley twins bring a crucial outside perspective. In the US, people aren't seeing a privacy warrior, they're seeing a man who played the press game for years. A sudden rewrite of history. A lawsuit that ignores palace briefing norms everyone accepted. This matters because Harry's brand now lives in America, and that audience is growing skeptical.
Broke down precisely because of the distrust, and it led to me not speaking to her for years. It seemed as though someone was leaking these stories, but I now believe that it will have come from listening into our communications, voicemail interception, or blagging.
Well, I mean, of course, he has absolutely no idea about that. But, Sidleys, how do you think Meghan Markle is going to feel about the fact Harry and Natalie Pinkham, who, by the way, is by all accounts, I don't know if you know her, Lady C, but a very lovely, fun woman that people love to hang out with and everyone gets along with, and Harry certainly adored her, and are back in contact.
I'm afraid for Harry and the royal family at this point, because what does Meghan have to lose? I would be furious. And then you put that level of Meghan Markle furious, maybe with a little sprinkle of narcissism. That's a dangerous combination.
Yeah, I think Meghan obviously is irritated with all the girl chatter, the woman chatter. I mean, we're not hearing much about guys he's hanging out with. Do you know what I mean?
He went to Ibiza with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the lie, everything Harry's saying is so traceable. Everything he's saying, there's pictures, there's emails, there's voicemails, there's text, and he's just
sometimes there's his own book. I mean, there were literally
there's his own
moments.
book.
But I'm shocked that he would admit that he was talking to an ex-girlfriend on the stand. This is not going to go well. I'm really scared what's going to happen in the next 7 days.
But guys, we have to remember Meghan Markle is not jealous for the right reasons. It's not like, oh, this is my love and this is my husband. Meghan Markle just doesn't want Harry to have anybody else. Meghan Markle is nothing without those titles. She's nothing without Prince Harry. She's nothing without the royal family. I mean, Harry goes away, she doesn't want anyone else to have him.
Well, she's supposed to be the one who reads and is beautiful. She's smart and beautiful.
Yes.
And he's never had that before. She needs to be the girl that everybody was dreaming of, including his brother, Prince William, that nobody was ever to get. And now it's showing that Harry was kind of loose.
Well, yeah, but
he
also
was loose with the women.
Also, we know because of the evidence 2 things. Number 1, Harry still feels deeply emotional about these women. Number 2, these women are the polar opposite of Meghan Markle. They have still never cashed in. To this day, they never sold them out. And it is quite striking seeing that comparison. But of course, Steph, you wrote, and I think you're totally correct in this, looks like all the Chelsea Davy talk really got to Meghan Markle. Prince Harry ended up making the entire case about his wife, OMG. And he knew he had to do this. I believe this moment was rehearsed with David Sherborne, but let me just show you. He chokes up at the end.
I've never believed that my life is open season to be commercialized by these people. To act in the public interest is to interest the public. I fundamentally reject that. Having my life, like others, commercialized in this way since I was a teenager, delving into every aspect of my private life, listening to calls, blagging flights so they could see where I was going. It was a time when everyone was in competition with each other. To sit here and go through this again, and to hear them claim in their defense that I don't have any right to privacy, is disgusting. They have made my wife's life an absolute misery, my lord.
But Nancy, as you pointed out, the Sussex squad have officially driven off the cliff with Meghan Markle. Is she unstable, weak, thriving, or unbothered? Because it can't be all 4 before lunch. And this is just one example of it.
That Prince Harry broke down after he gave his last statement when he said, the Mail has made Meghan's life the misery. So Meghan just released a video, and to me, this screams, we're unbothered.
So which is it, right, ladies? Which is it? Is she devastated, as Harry says, or
Sybil
is
at
she
the
unbothered?
switch.
May I make a point?
Please.
First of all, Meghan Markle isn't a part of the claim. The claim covers a period before Meghan Markle came into Harry's life. And Harry also stretches it going back to his mother and his mother's death and his mother's life when she was alive with the press, all of which is totally irrelevant. And already we have a big issue with the statute of limitations. So Harry is expanding something that is already beyond the statute of limitations both ways. That's, I think also well, let me just leave it at that for the moment.
Well, no, that's a very good point.
No,
that is a very good point, Lady C. What I just wanted to ask about as well, though, was specifically Chelsea Davy, who has become, again, a big factor in this case. Salty Duchess posted on this, Prince Harry needs serious help to get over his unhealthy obsession with Chelsea Davy, who dumped him almost 20 years ago. Chelsea dumped him because he was a needy, unstable, paranoid junkie, self-soothing with booze and Class A drugs, and used press intrusion to extract herself. This is what he said in regards to the woman who got away. Watch.
I was never suspicious of Chelsea in relation to stories like this, but I was of her friends. If I saw this story at the time, I would have been very frustrated and angry. I would have questioned how Associated found out this information, but at the same time, I would have felt like I had to accept this as the reality of my life. This sort of intrusion was terrifying for Chelsea. It made her feel like she was being hunted and the press had caught her. And it was terrifying for me too, because there was nothing I could do to stop it. And now she was in my world. She was shaken, and I was really paranoid about trying to protect our privacy, as the article says. Their behaviour and treatment of Chelsea was not normal. I was really worried something bad was going to happen.
Lady C, he's not over her. You don't want to keep bringing up your ex, do you? I mean, I certainly wouldn't.
Well, I can't remember which one of the girls made the point about a lawyer. Chelsea is a lawyer. Did you know that? Chelsea's a lawyer. Chelsea has a very good degree. Chelsea's beautiful. Chelsea is everything Meghan would have liked to have been and couldn't even be in that cable network show Suits because she was only ever a paralegal. Oh, sorry, Dan, I've forgotten what you asked me.
Well, why is he not over her? Why does the spectre of Chelsea Davies still hang so significantly over his life? She doesn't want to speak about him, Lady C. I mean, she very recently did a very respectful piece in the Evening Standard about her new life and her lovely new husband, her lovely new children. I mean, look at these beautiful photographs. She didn't mention Harry once, but he, I don't believe, is over her. What really went on in terms of the end of their relationship?
Well, my understanding is that she effectively dumped him because she got tired of his behavior. And, she, I mean, let's face facts. Most girls at first will think, oh, it's wonderful. I'm going to be a princess. I'm going to be a royal duchess. And then they quickly realize the reality. And very few girls who are from privileged backgrounds, which to an extent Chelsea Davy is. I mean, she's not from an old established family, but she is from a very well-off family. And she's had a very privileged life, and she mixes in very upper class circles. I can tell you, I know it because I've seen her at things, and I've met her at things with friends of mine. And she's a fully paid up member of, shall we say, the inner circle. She didn't want it. She wanted somebody who was going to be loving and stable and wouldn't cheat on her and didn't have drug issues and didn't have, and would treat her well. And she's got that. She dumped Harry because Harry wasn't good enough for her. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And Harry struggles to understand that he was dumped because he wasn't up to the mark. So he has to blame the press.
Totally.
He has to blame everyone else.
For everything, though, even his drinking drugs problems. Now, look, one of the things, because we've got to look at some of the lighthearted side of this. I mean, I will say, just to remind everyone, today, Harry actually went to the House of Lords to have lunch with Baroness Doreen Lawrence. Now, I don't think that's appropriate, but what is quite amusing to me are the courtroom sketches of Harry, which Meghan Small pointed out are alarming and said you have to give credit to the court artist who accurately highlighted Harry Mountbatten Windsor's alarming baldness in his drawings. And I did think that was one of the quite nice factors of what went on, Sidley's. Harry's just looking terrible. He's not looking happy, and this case has not been good for him.
No, and he's been doing the blame game and the victimhood game. And, it's a lot easier to look at someone else than look at yourself in the mirror. And that's what Harry is used to. He grew up in this bubble, a silver spoon, if you will. And everyone was always protecting him. Now he's with Meghan Markle. And she lately has been throwing him to the wolves.
Yeah.
And it's just not something he wants. But
he doesn't know how to get out of it. I mean, does that look like a man who was dancing in the Montecito sun with his beautiful, smart, talented wife last weekend with their children running around? I mean, that is not thriving. That's nothing. And I go back to this, but I am quite nervous because when people get desperate, they do things really, really stupid. And
yeah.
I'm just afraid that Meghan Markle is so at the end of her rope that there could be a separation coming, allegedly. It's just allegedly saying, and I'm just afraid of what she's going to do or say and how she's going to really push Harry over the edge.
All going to explode. That is for certain. Now, look, you're not going to believe this. Harry is now taking a significant role in this Brooklyn Beckham versus Victoria and David Beckham situation. So I really wanted to speak about this in just one moment. We will do it.
This is one of the most eyebrow-raising moments of the entire case. Whether or not Mr. Mischief is real, Harry cannot explain. Why he had Charlotte Griffith's number. Why she publishes consistently pro-Harry stories. Why their contact continued. No affair alleged, but a relationship absolutely implied. And that's all public opinion needs. Harry's defense boils down to, I don't remember, I didn't know, that can't be right. That's not a legal strategy, that's a credibility collapse. Lady CS assessment is savage. He denies the undeniable and assumes the judge will ignore reality. That rarely ends well. The judge's patience starts thinning. Harry argues with questions. He relitigates feelings instead of facts. He reacts emotionally instead of strategically. The impression left. This is not a man in control of his case or his narrative. To be fair, and the segment is, there are troubling allegations against journalists. Seat numbers. Flight details. Emails. But here's the key distinction. One unlawful act doesn't validate an entire conspiracy narrative. And Harry keeps trying to turn isolated issues into a grand persecution myth. This is nuclear for Meghan. Harry admits his back in contact with Natalie Pinkham and suggests paranoia ended the relationship. Let's be blunt. Talking to an ex during a high-stress marriage. Admitting it under oath. Knowing Meghan's sensitivity to past relationships. This was reckless. The panel raises a dangerous question. Is Meghan upset because she loves Harry, or because she doesn't want him having anyone else emotionally? That distinction matters, and the commentary leans toward the latter. Harry choking up over Meghan is powerful, but legally irrelevant. The problem? Meghan isn't part of this claim. Most events predate her entirely. Emotion doesn't fix statute limitations. Lady C delivers the cold truth. Time limits matter. Diana references don't extend claims. Expanding the timeline weakens the case. This isn't therapy. It's court. This may be the most psychologically revealing section. Chelsea moved on. Married. Children. Silence. Harry. Still talking. The implication is brutal. He hasn't processed being rejected. And Meghan knows it. Harry looks exhausted. Bloated. Unhappy. The commentary suggests something darker. Desperation leads to bad decisions. And bad decisions are piling up fast. The show closes with a chilling warning. Marriage strain. Legal losses looming. Public sympathy draining. If this explodes, it won't be quiet. Now it's your turn. Do you think Prince Harry has completely destroyed his own case? Is Meghan Markle right to be furious, or is this relationship cracking under pressure? And should Harry ever have gone to court at all? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you think the media is missing the real story. Subscribe for uncensored royal coverage you won't get anywhere else. This story is far from over, and the next 7 days could change everything.